Ordinarily, this is how a river should look like. Environmentalists say that the availability of insects such as this in water is a sign of a healthy river. But this is the status of rivers flowing in the city. An aerial view of Ngong town in Kajiado County. A dump site within the town cannot escape your eyes. From a distance are these turbines atop Ngong Hills, a landmark for this town. Coming down to the town, this is what greets you in the estates. Raw sewage flowing in this informal settlement which borders the dump site. Black water flows from decades-old garbage at the dump site. That has been an eyesore for residents of this town. Ngong town lacks sewer line services, and therefore this effluent finds its way in the nearby rivers and streams. Outside the town, this is the source of Enchore Emnyi River in Ngong Hills. It is a tributary to Athi River, which flows into Indian Ocean. The source of the river is almost extinct as a result of overgrazing around it. We understand that Ngong area had more than 170 streams and wetlands about 20 years ago, but today they remain less than 10. Human activity led to their drying up. Dirty water from the town flows into Enchoro Emunyi River. The river enters Ololua Forest, which is not far from Karen. The state of the river is worrying. This form is a clear indication of high levels of pollution. As the river gets out of Ololua Forest, it becomes Bagadi River. The level of pollution goes up due to all manner of waste from Rongai town, another town with no sewer line. At the outskirts of Rongai town is Kandisi River, which enters Nairobi National Park on my right hand and joins Mbagathi River to form Athi River. The water entering Nairobi National Park is highly polluted.
The activities impact negatively on the river, on the water in this river. And when it's on top of that, you add sewage, you make a concoction of very terrible mix of pollutants.
Outside the park is Athi River area. This is the meeting point of Mbagathi River, which flows through Nairobi National Park, and Kasweto River, which flows through Kitengela town, meet to form Athi River. Now, this is the point where the river begins. This is a reservoir for Athi River town. The water is purified before it is taken to the town for human consumption. But downstream of the river, and we want to find out exactly what is happening. And what we have is a dry river bend, because apart from now the water being pumped to this river town, there's a lot of activity happening, people pumping water for their farming. Not all residents of Athi River and its environs use this water. Some come to fetch their water in this stream, which passes through Kitengela town and is equally polluted. On the lower side of Athi River, the water here is at a standstill. Bubbles from the water are methane gas.
The pumping of water from this pod or this part of the river is so heavy that there is no flow out. But the same part area is receiving sewage through the channel we saw on the right. That sewage coming here creates anaerobic conditions. That is digestion of the waste without oxygen. And that is the resultant of that is methane gas. So unaona zinakuwa regular, zinatoka pa one point. Actually hapo ukiweka balloon, you'll be able to capture gas.
We are about 2 kilometers from where Athi River starts, outside the outskirts of Athi River town. On my right is a stream that is discharging raw sewage into the river. The stench here is unbearable, but unfortunately, that is the water that is being used for farming in this area. These pipes are connected to a generator to pump water into the farms. Kales and other vegetables thrive well. Not too far from here, along Mombasa Road, women are washing clothes with the same water. We moved the source of Nairobi River. This is Ondiri Swamp in Kiambu County, outside Kikuyu town. The water here is clean, despite the fact that the swamp is a short distance from the town. Conservation efforts of the wetland is the reason why the water is clean.
Sometimes back 2019, WRA went and they decided to protect that area because we realized that the people are encroaching the swamp itself. There's a lot of activities, farming activities. Even people were able almost now putting up buildings or houses near the swamp. We do a water analysis. We take some samples, then we analyze in our lab. So the water quality has really changed drastically.
A few kilometers from Ondiri Swamp is Michuki Park. Though a lot has been done to clean the park, Nairobi River, which snakes through the park, is still grappling with pollution. As you move downstream of Nairobi River, the level of pollution increases. This is Tasia in Eastlands. Informal settlement and lack of a proper sewer system has been blamed for high levels of pollution in these rivers. Nairobi rivers are not only choking from raw sewage and solid waste alone.
Concerned, I've been talking about this.
Dr. Lucas Nyabero, the CEO of Kenya Pharmaceutical Society of Kenya, says medicine has polluted rivers, making the immune system of some people resistant to a number of drugs.
When you have medications that you haven't taken, where do you take it? You take it to trash, which is what everybody does. Or if you're lucky to live in a place where there's a pit latrine, that's where it goes. Water will get to it, and then it will pull it out, and then the content will go into the pit latrine. They don't sit there. It gets into the water table. So then when you're talking about the river having antibiotics, it is either somebody put antibiotics in the river, or it came through the water table, or through some of the animal, because we use antibiotics on animals too. So the other uses, but there are many ways to get the antibiotics into the water.
The water we find here may not only be having antibiotics, but also heavy metals. Some heavy metals are also used to make the antibiotics, but they are only prescribed for those who are sick. Like if you are on chemotherapy, the regime for chemotherapy treatment is very heavy on metals. But when it ends up in the rivers, our food chain is contaminated because farmers are using this water to irrigate sukuma wiki or spinach, and in the process, these crops are able to absorb those metals, and in the process, it means when you are taking a meal, you're already taking an extra heavy dosage of heavy metals.
So if you're not sure and not understand that you should take all your pills, then you toss them. You're exposing kids to hormones. You're exposing people to antidepressants that they don't need because there's side effects to that. You're exposing people to anti-seizure medication. Is it the reason why we are seeing diseases that we never used to see? Is it the reason why we are having fertility issues? Is it the reason why we are having kids at 8 girls at 8 having menstrual periods?
Each of them was exposing you to a metal that is not able to be removed by your kidneys, so it accumulates in your body and causing you more diseases, or lowering your IQ.
Where do you take your unused drugs?
So you use your medications, you finish. Anything that is expired or has not been used, maybe a patient passes away or change in prescription, all these changes, the medications are collected at a particular center and then they are deactivated.
Out in the city, polluted Nairobi, Mathare, Ngong, Mbagathi and other rivers join Athi River.
Septies will cause issues to do with obesity, issues to do with diabetes type 2, issues to do with high blood pressure, issues to do with reduced libido for both men and women.
We travel to Oldonyo Sabuk to find out the state of Athi River. Oldonyo Sabuk Bridge is a testimony of a polluted river. Hyacinth has taken over here. The level of solid waste at the banks of the river is a testimony of the injustice that the river has been subjected to upstream. These young men harvest sand from the river, which is full of hippos, oblivious of the danger they are exposing themselves to. For them, lack of food on the table is a greater danger, though they refuse to speak to us on camera. This massive generator is used to pump water to far off farms. Not too far from here on my left-hand side is the famous 14 Falls. On this side of Oldonyo Sabuk in Machakos County, the section of the river is fully covered by hyacinth. It is a place where farmers here are drawing their water for farming. On the opposite side, Simon Wanyeike is harvesting coriander. He tells us this water can only be used for farming and not for domestic use.
Si maji ati ko nini ya kukunywa. Kilimo tu peke yake. Na kuosha nguo. Sio ati haiwezi kuwa safi, inaweza kuwa safi. Shida ni uchafu hiyo inatoka tu sewage. Wakati ya mvua inaachiliwa, kama mvua kidogo mmeachilia. Naona, lakini maji inaweza kuwa mzuri.
Antibiotics are misuse, overconsumption of antibiotics also contributes to drug mutation, so the drug resistance due to mutation of pathogens.
At the famous 14 Falls, no much activity. Normally the place is full of visitors, but due to the high levels of pollution, tour guides here, like Eric Ochieng, have nothing to smile about.
Hapo ndio unatoa karo ya familia yangu, mtoto aende shule, bibi apate mahitaji yake, na mimi niwe na mahitaji yangu, bado nataka kujikalisha maisha yangu mzuri, lakini kuna wakati ambaye maji ikiwa imechafuka, wangu natoka hapa bila kitu. Lakini wakati ambao kumenyesha pande ya Nairobi, kesho yake mtu wenyewe inakuanga inanuka. Imezidi juu hapo mbeleni, haikuwa hivyo. Samaki wamepungua. Chenye mebaki kwa hii mto, samaki mwenye survive hapa ni mudfish.
The 14 Falls have turned to green forest, literally speaking, taking the color of the polluted river. The river flows all the way to incomplete multi-billion Thwake Dam in Makueni County. Last year, the Auditor General's report showed that water from Thwake Dam is not fit for human consumption due to pollution.
There are a number of purposes for that water. One is for irrigation purposes, another one is for domestic. If it is for domestic, water has to be treated. Whoever is going to provide water service provider there, has to fully comply to the standard of domestic water for domestic.
If this river could speak, it could tell a story of what it has gone through in the hands of human beings who are supposed to protect it. For rivers to flow free of pollution, human beings must change their behavior and embrace conservation. Dan Kaburu, K24, in Machakos County.